We're back to Dan Zug's injector again. The old swinger's off, the new one's on. One thing that we've found is keeping the swinger low reduces the amount of torque when you're pulling. Makes sense. So we kept the swinger as low as we could, still clear everything. We got a flow meter above it, distributor above that. We also replaced the hoses because the distributor was mounted lower. They had a, I would say, convoluted way of routing the manure to get into the distributor. We really simplified it. Distributor got mounted up higher, which helps for hose management. So then we put new hoses on. One of the things that having the distributor high helps with, and this is something I learned recently, kind of by accident, but we're going to do more of it in the future, is with a distributor up high, the hose routing works better when you fold it. Your hoses won't kink as quick. So the higher you have the distributor, the better, easier hose management it is. The number one thing we struggle with is the hoses folding, unfolding. You're doing that all the time. You don't want them to be kinking, because once they kink, then that's forever a trouble spot. So your swinger design affects your flow rate. One of the big things is using all swept elbows. So we use a swept elbow, there's less restriction as your manure is coming in, going up around. Also, we put the T up here. So rather than some of the others in the industry, it comes straight up into a T and then makes a 90-degree turn. With this, it's going straight through the T, a little less restriction, so you get a little more flow. It's at, once you start going to the, from 2,500 to 4,000 gallon a minute, those little details start adding up and they make a big difference. With the system that Zug has, with this injector, he's going to be pumping at around 2,000 gallons a minute. The limitation is not the swinger itself, it's going to be the size of his pump and the size of his hose. We did reuse his existing distributor. It was working for him. It is not a very large distributor, so that will be his next choke point on the injector, will be the distributor. But at his current flow rates, I don't see that being a problem. If you have an existing piece of equipment and it needs a new swinger, we have this available as a kit. We can build a complete, the swinger, the post in the front that the bearings are mounted to, that would come as part of the kit. And then you would simply mount that post on your injector, add your own bracing to it. It's an economical way to bring used injection equipment up to a current design swing pipe and get your flow rates up. If you have a local welding shop, from my world, I'd say it's easy to mount. Take it to a local welding shop, hey, here's the swinger, and here's where we want to mount it, and they should be able to take care of you. This is a Dietrich shank injector. They are great for high rate applications. If you want to inject 15,000 gallons to the acre and not have any of it on top, this is your injector. It is not good for rocky ground, and it's not a low disturbance, but they do bury manure because they got a fairly wide sweep. It's aggressive sweep, and you can put a lot of manure in the ground. And when your neighbors drive past, they won't know it. The important things with injection is happy neighbors. If your neighbors drive past and it stinks, they're going to go to the township and complain. It also, you save nitrogen. So you're saving yourself money by that nitrogen is not just going out in the atmosphere. And then also less runoff. It keeps the regulators away, because at the end of the day, we want to farm, we want to be left alone. It works best if we don't annoy the people around us. And injection is one way of reducing the annoyed neighbors.